A federal judge has ruled that Donald Trump and his lawyers will not be able to drop a case where he is accused of inciting violence at one of his rallies. Now, the rally was in Louisville, Kentucky in March of 2016, and there was a viral video showing two protesters, and specifically one young black protester at the rally who was being pushed and shoved out of the event. Okay, and so if you look at the video, they were very forceful, and the woman decided to go ahead and file a lawsuit against Donald Trump for inciting the violence. Now, the judge, David J. Hale, ruled against efforts by Trump's attorneys to throw out a lawsuit accusing him of inciting violence against protesters at this campaign rally. Trump repeatedly said, this is a statement from the judge, by the way, Trump repeatedly said, get them out of here before, according to the protesters, they were shoved and punched by his supporters. The judge noted that speech inciting violence is not protected by the First Amendment and ruled that there is plenty of evidence that the protesters' injuries were a direct and proximate result of Trump's words. Now, this is another case, yet another case where Trump's words work against him, right? He has diarrhea of the mouth. He says things without thinking about the ramifications. So during this rally, he was at the podium, speaking in regard to the protesters and encouraging his supporters to get them out, right? And so you rile people up and some people might get forceful. So look, the judge did make clear that this doesn't mean that he's immediately gonna find him guilty. He's just saying, no, let's adjudicate this properly. You are not allowed to drop this case.
Yeah, so basically Trump's attorneys were trying to say, this is not even a legitimate case. Let's not have this case go forward because we have a First Amendment right to say whatever the hell we want. And the judge basically is saying, no, we'll see if you actually did incite violence. That's for the actual court case. But it is gonna go forward because you don't have a First Amendment right to incite violence. That's not part of the First Amendment.
Right.
And there is a very legitimate case to be made that you did. Now in other rallies, he talked about, hey, I'll pay for your lawsuit if they sue you. Well, that's a clear, obvious indication. Go ahead and assault them. And then if they sue you, I'll back you up. Now, of course, with Donald Trump, he doesn't mean any of it. He'd run right away from that. And in this case, when he's the one being accused of inciting violence, he's like, what, me? I would never, right?
Yeah.
Well, the judge is saying, no, you might have actually.
You might have actually, and that's based on what everyone has heard you say during the campaigns, right? So it's very similar to what happened with his proposed Muslim ban, version 1 and 2. So the argument is you can't, constitutionally speaking, you cannot ban a certain religion or a certain religious group from entering the country. And they're like, no, what are you talking about? This isn't a Muslim ban, this isn't a Muslim ban. And there's so much evidence of them indicating, Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump saying verbatim, Muslim ban, right? So that works against you. And while his supporters and while his staffers might argue, oh, but don't take him seriously, don't take his words literally. Well, these federal judges do take his words literally because words actually do mean something when it comes to legal proceedings like this.
Yeah, so in the case of the Muslim ban, he said we want a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the country. And then he proposes a travel ban affecting only Muslim countries. And then they tell the judge, well, don't take him literally when he says total and complete shutdown of Muslims. Judge is like, yeah, no, of course I'm going to take him literally. He said it, it's super relevant as to whether this is a ban that is based actually on national security interests or it's a ban based on unconstitutional principles. How else would we adjudicate that other than taking the president seriously and literally?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that though. They have to constantly make a case literally in court proceedings to say, no, the president is an idiot. You shouldn't take him literally. He doesn't mean anything he says. Membership helps fund the Young Turks. You know one great thing about that? That means we're not accountable to anyone but you guys. That's why we're strong together, because we built this show around you. Come build it even bigger and better at tytnetwork.com/join.